and boys, I'm Abby Brown. We all know that Iowa has beautiful prairies, farms, cities, lakes, rivers, and wooded areas. But what we don't have is ocean, not here or anywhere nearby. So how can Iowa be involved in saving the ocean's coral reefs? Today, in a very special area here at the Blank Park Zoo, we're going to see how several different species of coral are being fed and cared for. That's right, corals are animals. Go wild with Iowa PBS and the Blank Park Zoo as we learn about a fascinating creature, ocean coral.
Reasons are one really important thing with these corals is we have to do with our seals and sea lions, and we're going to learn a little bit more about today.
So today's science adventure may have you thinking we need some scuba diving gear. But our friends here at the Blank Park Zoo assure me that we do not. Let's dive in and get a peek at ocean life right here in Iowa.
Hi, my name is Ann and I'm from the Blank Park Zoo. Did you know that coral reefs are found in oceans all across the world? Thousands of animals make the reef their home. And healthy reefs are really important for the health of the animals all across the ocean and also people that live all over the world. Right off the coast of Florida is one of the largest reef tracts in North America called the Florida Reef Tract. And right now the Florida Reef Tract is endangered and those animals need help, and Blank Park Zoo is really proud to be a part of that solution. And with me today is my friend Dana. Dana takes care of all the fish at the Blank Park Zoo, and she's here to tell us a little bit about the project.
Hi guys, so we are one of 15 AZA facilities that are taking care of corals from the Florida Reef Tract, as Ann said. These corals could potentially be affected by a stony coral tissue loss disease, and it's very detrimental or really bad for these corals. So what we do is we're holding these corals for several years until researchers can figure out what the issue is and hopefully return them back to the wild.
So Dana, Des Moines is really far from the ocean. So how are we taking care of these animals being so far away?
Yeah, so we took a couple months to set up 4 aquariums or trays for the corals to live in for this 3-year period. And we make sure that their water quality is clean and healthy for them. So we have lots of filtration to help keep that clean. We do a lot of maintenance, and the biggest thing is feeding them and making sure that they're well fed.
Do you think you can show us?
Yeah, I can take you right back.
Wow, this is a new place I've never seen before.
Yeah, so this is our holding area for the corals. It's completely separate from all the other exhibits that we have at the zoo. One of the main reasons, or one really important thing with these corals, is we have to keep them separate so they don't mix any water with any other aquariums.
So are all of these different species that you have here?
So we have about 10 different species here. The program is working with about 26 different species of coral, so we've got just under half of those. But it's really interesting. They all, even the same species can look very different. You can have one species that's a bright purple, and the same exact species sometimes looks orange. So it's really, really neat how different these corals really are.
So I noticed that they're on, it looks like boards, and they have tags by them. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so each coral has an identification, so we can tell them all apart. Florida Fish and Wildlife also has that with linked to their genetics, so they know exactly the species of coral. The numbers, the first name is actually the location that the coral was collected in Florida. The middle part is their species, genus and species name. And then the last number is that number of coral that it was collected. So they have anywhere from 1 to 100 corals of that species.
So a lot of people don't realize that corals are actually animals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's really, really interesting. So basically how corals work, there's a couple different things that come into play. Part of their need for energy is lighting. So you can see that we have lights here. They need the sunlight to help them grow. They also have a calcium carbonate skeleton, just like we have bones. It's very similar for them, so they pull the calcium out of the water so that they can grow these big calcium structures. And they actually also have mouths. Each coral has several different polyps. You can see this one right here it's got about 15 polyps. It's these round, the circular parts. And in the very middle of that is what we call a mouth. What the coral will do is any plankton or any food item that floats by them, they actually use nemocytes, which is kind of a sticky kind of way of grabbing that food and taking it in and digesting it. So they actually really are animals, and they're not plants, as some people like to, that some people believe.
So what would a coral eat?
We feed them crushed plankton. They'll eat really anything that kind of floats by them, but usually it's very small food items. So plankton is the most common food item that they would take in. So as I mentioned here, we feed them crushed plankton. We mix it with a couple amino acids, really important building block for the corals to continue to grow. And it's really simple. We just mix a little tank water in there as well. We have our turkey baster, and we'll suck up a little bit of food, just like that. And I'll actually directly deposit the food right onto the coral mouth.
And do you have to feed each individual polyp?
So we kind of space them out. These ones, since it's really easy to see all of the mouths, we try to hit all the mouths that we can. Some of them, the mouths are a little harder to distinguish, so we kind of just broadcast over the whole coral. But this one's really fun to watch eat, so I'm gonna give them lots of food.
So it looks like this one, their polyps are kind of closing. Is that them actually eating?
Yep. So yeah, you can see how the mouth is deepening, and they're actually absorbing all that food, and they'll take it in and use it for energy. And so we'll do that with each coral, just kind of spread the food right over those mouths and let the corals do the rest.
Wow, that was a first for me. I've never seen a coral eat. It's amazing. Thank you everyone for going wild with Iowa PBS and the Blank Park Zoo. I'm Abby Brown, and always remember to ask questions and wonder. That's what science is all about.